What is he in for this Saturday night?
A rude awakening. A rude awakening for sure.
Lamont Roach Jr. made it clear that he wasn't just another name on Gervonta Davis' growing list of knockouts. He spoke with conviction, carried himself with unshakable confidence, and told anyone who would listen that he was ready to shock the world. Roach refused to be just another opponent. He wouldn't crumble under pressure. He wouldn't be bullied in the ring. He was different, and he was determined to prove it.
I don't know Lamont Roach, but when you look at Shakur Stevenson, when you're looking at these other fighters that he should really be fighting, he don't.
And yet, like so many before him, Roach's belief remained just that, a belief. From the moment this fight was announced, it felt like the entire boxing world already knew the outcome. He could say all the right things, grind through a grueling training camp, and convince himself he was built differently. But when the bell rang, he was standing across from a relentless force. And in that moment, reality hit.
Sure, soften them up, then fry.
Gervonta Davis had already cemented his reputation as one of the most feared punchers in boxing. He wasn't just knocking opponents out. He was ending careers, shattering confidence, and breaking spirits. Every fighter Roach mentioned before the fight, Ryan Garcia, Isaac Cruz, and others who were accused of lacking belief, had their own strategies, their own confidence, and their own plans to weather the storm. But in the end, they all learned the hard way what it truly meant to share a ring with.
The boxing fans is kind of hypocritical when they beg for fighters to dare to be great, but if they see it from your point of view instead of Gervonta being frustrated with Gervonta.
Roach confidently claimed he wouldn't be broken, mentally or physically. He spoke of his masterful boxing skills and insisted he would be the one to solve the puzzle that so many before him had failed to crack. But deep down, even his most optimistic supporters had to sense the inevitable. This was a super featherweight champion moving up to face one of the most destructive punchers in the sport. A 130-pounder stepping into a division, Gervonta Davis had been dismantling full-size lightweights. The only question left was how long Roach could hold on and how much punishment he was willing to endure before the outcome everyone expected became reality.
Fight a rematch and beat him again. Obviously, you want to fight the other champs at 135, right? Let's say that scenario happens and Shakur should be on.
Roach made it clear that he didn't care about public opinion. He shrugged off the critics, ignored the doubts, and let the world know he wasn't interested in hearing why he couldn't win. Asterisk, they'll just have to wait and see, he said when asked how he planned to handle Tank's power. He was convinced that his moment was coming, that he was about to redefine himself as more than just a solid champion from the lower weight classes. But again, that was just his belief. The real question everyone was waiting to see answered was how Roach would react when he got kicked clean. Would he try to tough it out like Pitbull Cruz and make it to the final bell? Would he go down early like Ryan Garcia? Or would his fate take an unexpected turn? Once those questions were answered, the conversation quickly shifted.
Not necessarily carry over into fight night.
For me, because
The victory was expected, but what people really wanted to discuss was what came next. Shakur Stevenson wasted no time jumping into the conversation. Already locked in an ongoing online feud with Tank, he wasn't about to let this moment pass without adding more fuel to the fire. As soon as the dust settled, Stevenson took to X, calling Tank *goofy*, and demanding that he stop talking and just make the fight happen. But Tank wasn't about to let Shakur control the narrative. He made it clear that he saw right through Stevenson's motives. *He's just trying to rush in because he heard I might retire, Tank told the media. *They're tired of him, man. His people are trying to cash him out before y'all see what he really is.
But everybody be talking shit to Gervonta, it don't be coming out good for them, my nigga. I'm just keeping it real.
He obviously a superstar, but just because who he is, this don't change no program that I got going on. I'm here to win, I've been coming to win, and I think the same result gonna happen.
This wasn't just talk. There were real whispers behind the scenes that Top Rank had grown frustrated with Stevenson. He wasn't the star they had envisioned, and he wasn't selling the way they had hoped. His last fight had been so dull that fans literally walked out before the final bell. Now, instead of building himself up the right way, Stevenson was trying to force his way into a fight with Tank by stirring up noise online. But Tank wasn't having it. "You don't have enough clout for me to care, he said. If you really want to get to me, go fight Keyshawn Davis first,
Lamont, the way that everybody else look at Lamont, like I know Lamont is a really good fighter. I'm not. This ain't no Frank Martin. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis had long maintained that a fight between them wasn't in the cards. They had called each other brothers, but Tank wasn't buying it. As far as he was concerned, if Shakur truly wanted to prove himself, he needed to stop making excuses and start taking real risks. Go fight your brother and show me something, Tank said. Then maybe I'll care, This wasn't the response Stevenson wanted. He had expected a simple back and forth, a war of words to build hype. But instead, Tank had put him in check. Now, the pressure was on Shakur to prove he was worth the fight. Meanwhile, Lamont Roach Jr. was already moving on. He had lost, but he wasn't finished. Even before the Tank fight, he had been eyeing a bout with Jose Rayo Valenzuela. Now, back at 130 pounds, that plan remained intact. Valenzuela, fresh off a career-changing victory over Edwin de los Santos, was hungry for another big-name opponent. And despite his loss, Roach still carried the name value and the WBA super featherweight title, making this a fight that made sense for both men. Roach had just endured the toughest test of his career, but he refused to let it define him. He still believed in his abilities, still saw himself as a world-class fighter. The difference between him and Tank: Roach could afford to lose and rebuild. Tank couldn't. Every fight, every decision, every moment had to be calculated. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a business. And in the business of boxing, Tank still held all the cards. If he wanted to fight Shakur, he could. If he wanted to take on Keyshawn Davis, he could.
I think he actually took this fight for the naysayers and all the people talking shit about the fight. I think he actually took the fight because he know that I'm a dog, and he want to prove his skills against a dog. So I'm gonna show y'all what happens when two dogs.
If he wanted to ignore them both and go straight for a mega fight with Devin Haney, that option was on the table too. One thing was certain: no matter what happened next, Tank was still the king. For anyone chasing him, whether it was Shakur, Keyshawn, or the rest of the lightweight division, the road still led through him. Roach, however, believed he had uncovered Tank's biggest weakness: his lack of focus. He had studied Davis, listened to his interviews, and drawn a bold conclusion: Tank was distracted. The talk of retirement, the social media antics, the way he sometimes seemed more invested in life outside the ring than inside it.
Round.
What?
I say ninth round.
You said ninth?
Yeah.
What's your response to that, Lamont?
Look, he got scared. Look. He looked at ninth.
I'm telling you, you saying you going down in a...
It all signaled to Roach that Tank's mind wasn't fully on boxing. To Roach, this was his opening. This was his chance to do what no man had done before.